Rod. Welcome to this week's edition of Jet Setting. I'm Ken Wiebe from Post Media along with colleague Ted Wyman. The Jets are approaching the midway point of the season. Now, what stood out to you so far?
Well, I think my opinion about them might have been just a little bit different before Christmas than it is after Christmas, because their start coming out of the break hasn't been very good. They've been pretty sluggish, haven't been skating anywhere near as well as they had been. They're definitely not putting the puck in the net the way that they were before Christmas. And there has to be a little bit of concern there. They talk like there's no concern, but it's just not the same right now. And I thought they were excellent before Christmas. They found ways to win games. There was a few parts that weren't great about their performance, but they certainly played well enough to get to first place in the Western Conference, and that's saying something.
We've talked a lot about goaltending in the first half. Laurent Brossoit, sort of a impressive showing out of the backup role. We didn't know a lot about him. Connor Hellebuyck, a little bit of an uneven start, but a very good December. How would you assess the goaltending overall?
Well, Laurent Brossoit has been probably one of the biggest surprises for this team this year. I don't think too many people recognized that he could be this good of a goaltender for them. The Jets have played very good hockey in front of him as well, but he's made a lot of saves. He's had a great save percentage. I think that his performance has been a real bonus for them. 8 wins, only 1 loss, and that's a lot more than what Steve Mason was providing last season, so I think that's been an improvement for them. Connor Hellebuyck hasn't been as good as he was last year when he was a Vezina Trophy candidate. I think that's pretty obvious, but I think he's got the potential, obviously, to have a better second half, and he seems to have settled down, I'd say, over the last month. I don't think it was a great start for him, but he certainly seems better now.
On the back end, obviously Dustin Byfuglien playing some of his best hockey. Josh Morrissey, Jacob Trouba still in that shutdown pairing. What stood out for you on the back end?
Well, obviously not as tight defensively, this team, as it was last year. I don't know if it's possible to be as tight defensively as it was last year, because the league is different. It's a much faster league. Scoring's up all over the place. These guys are playing a fairly similar style of hockey, but it's just hard to keep the numbers down the way that they were last year. I think Josh Morrissey's been excellent all season. Such a consistent player, playing very well with Jacob Trouba. Dustin Byfuglien has had one of his best years, and that's certainly been a big help for them. They're not super deep on defense, I don't think. Tyler Myers, although a very good player at times, has struggled at times as well. And they really kind of, I would say, if there was anything to look at as an area improvement, they might look at adding some depth on defense before the playoff run.
And how about up front? Obviously, Mark Scheifele and Blake Wheeler have sort of carried the mail offensively. Obviously, Patrick Laine up there in goals as well. What about up front? What stood out?
Well, I would say that Mark Scheifele's name being in the Hart Trophy conversation certainly tells you something about what kind of a season it's been for him. Playing on a line with Blake Wheeler, he had his name in the conversation last year and could easily this year as well, with coming close to maybe 100 assists right now. That's the pace that he's on. Very few people have ever done that in the NHL. I think the ones that have are named Gretzky, Lemieux, and Orr. So if he does something like that, that would be pretty impressive. Those two have really been carrying the load for the Jets. You worry a little bit about maybe them getting a little bit tired because they've been killing penalties. They're always on the power play, and they play a ton of minutes up front against the other team's best. Patrick Laine, 24 goals in the first half, but not quite the season that he had last year. He certainly has struggled. 2 of his months were not very good. One of them was one of the best you've ever seen in the NHL. So the question is this offensive group as strong as last year? Well, I think it certainly has the potential to be. It's good, but they haven't been always great throughout the lineup. It seems like they never seem to have the great nights on the same night. The second line might be great one night, the first line great another night. Never it seems to be on the same night.
Very good, Ted. Thanks very much. For Jet Setting, I'm Ken Wiebe.